Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from courts, and so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14. Gives us a shot to revisit those.
This Klan member is the Speaker of the House of Louisiana, and sir, that's exactly what you are. I'm surprised you didn't wear a Confederate flag while you went out there, or Make America White Again. I'm surprised you didn't bring out like a noose or something and wave it around, because that's what this is. This is segregation. When I started doing videos on TikTok over 3 years ago, this is what I said was happening. White Christian nationalism. You are not, let me say it again, you are not going to vote your way out of this. Because it's not about political ideology. It's about white people afraid that black people are in power. They see in a couple years that the white demographic is going away and it will no longer be a majority. I had this conversation with a Democrat yesterday before I interviewed congressional or gubernatorial candidate Javier Becerra. And he is still in la la land. Really nice guy. He's like, well, it's the economy. I'm like, it's such BS. I am so sick and tired of this. Oh, the economy. We had the lowest unemployment in 50 years. That's absolute rubbish. The entire world came out of a global pandemic. 77 million people really believed that a man that sexually abuses women, that's a convicted felon, that lied about an election, that caused an insurrection, that has dinner with white supremacists, with 3 failed marriages, 6 bankruptcies, including 2 casinos, that has concepts of a plan for a health care over 10 years, where Mexico never paid for the wall, who added $8.2 trillion to the debt. That's the guy? Oh yeah, he told me things were going to be great, because it wasn't about that. It's because he was white. When is America going to wake up to this? Every day, when I watch a little bit of news, I don't watch a whole lot of it. Oh, you have all these pundits up here. Oh, well, let's talk about the Gulf of Mexico and gas prices and inflation. Oh, the president said this, and Iran and Greenland. He's going to take Venezuela, and he's going to make Canada the 51st state. It's all BS. Steve Bannon had this conversation before the Grand Wizard of the White House was elected. If you're driving down the street and it's a beautiful sunny day, you can see for miles and miles and miles, right? Now, what happens when you're in a snowstorm? You can't see very far. You can see about 10 feet in front of your vehicle, right? That's what this is. It's all a distraction. They're trying to whiten America, and they're trying to hold on to white power. You all can spin around in a circle. You can ignore it. You can go to your jobs. You can pretend like you're doing something and protest every 4 months and act like you're doing something. You're not. Because you're watching it happen right before your eyes. You are watching modern day segregation. Jim Crow 2.0. And Americans are like, well, sorry, I'd like to fight for the black people, but I got bills to pay. I got to go to work. Because it's white privilege. That white privilege, that white silence is exactly what led us here. Since 1619, that's what white people as a majority have done. You didn't give a damn because it did affect you. And even now, you're not willing to be uncomfortable. And I'll prove it. Post in the comments. I want to see how many people that are actually serious, that are serious about fixing this. How many of you put a flag upside down in your front yard? I have. And I've had confrontations with my MAGA neighbor, and I don't care. How many of you have posted on Facebook and Instagram and upset some of your family members? How many of you had neighbors and friends and family at holidays on the phone that you talked to them and asked them why they voted for a white supremacist? How many of you did that? I would guarantee for the majority, it's not a lot. Because only 8 million people showed up on No King's protest out of 340 million. And you know why? Because white people don't want to be uncomfortable. That's just the reality of it. And you know what's sad is when the election happened, one of my friends, who happens to be black, is an author, she didn't go into work the next day. You know why? After the election? Because she knew that the racists were going to come out of the woodworks, and they did. They sent her racial slurs, burning crosses, Nigger, the white man's back in charge. It happened the last time he won too. And our black brothers and sisters are telling us, when are you white people going to wake up and actually give a damn about us? Because that's really the question. This guy in Louisiana, he's just a white supremacist, right? He's going to spend hell with Jeffrey Epstein. It's going to happen. That's what he is. He is a white supremacist. He's not a Christian. He doesn't care about life unless it's white. He is white trash. He just happens to have a suit and be in charge of the modern day Klan. Well, he calls it the House of Representatives for Republicans, because that's what it is. It is the modern Klan. If this country fails white people, I'm going to keep saying it till y'all start listening to me, because I've been saying this for 3 damn years now. It's going to be because you're not willing to piss off your family members or your friends or your coworkers. And if the first thing you say is, well, I have a job, I have bills to pay, that's really white of you. Do you think black people have that luxury? You think immigrants have that luxury? How about the kids in concentration camps right now? How about the officers that died on January 6th? How about the Somalians that were invaded by white supremacists in Minnesota? They're eating the dogs and cats. How about the white nationalists marching around different areas of the country because they don't want anyone that's not white here? Do you think they have the luxury of ignoring what's happening? No, they don't. But you do, because of what you look like. You're not going to vote your way out of white supremacy. The only way you defeat it is with disinfectant, and you put it in the light. Call out your friends and family. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're complicit. Silence is complicity. Just like the 3 officers stood by and watched George Floyd get murdered by that white trash cop, may he rot in hell too. You're sitting by because you don't want to be uncomfortable because you're worried about money. And that's the problem with America as a rule, is that we have no empathy for anybody. We say we do, but the moment we're asked to sacrifice our personal comfort, sorry, I got baseball. Oh, sorry, I got a Netflix movie. Oh, sorry, Mortal Kombat's playing in the theater. Oh, sorry, I can't do that because my job might say something. That's cool. But that's complicity through your silence. And if white people would speak the hell up instead of sitting in their privilege, this country would have progressed. But what happened was we didn't punish the Confederacy after the Civil War. And they lied and said it was about states' rights, the lost cause, the daughters of the Confederacy, and we let it fester like mold. Donald Trump didn't create white supremacy. He's just the leader of it. He told them to take off their white hoods and put on red hats. Don't be afraid to be a racist in the wild. And that's what the 14th Amendment is. They want a white America and white America only. And I'll prove it to you. And this goes on the Democrats because they suck at fighting for us. 77 million people, a lot of them said what? Oh, I just want people here legally. No, you don't. That's a bunch of crap, because you voted for a white man who's an adjudicated rapist. You voted for a man that's a convicted felon. You voted for a man that watched officers get beaten because he told 30,000 lies during his first term and lied about an election being stolen. Somehow that was okay. Why? Because he's white. How many of you got more upset about Colin Kaepernick, a black man, taking a knee, peacefully protesting, by the way, over a damn flag because he didn't want black people being treated like trash? Oh my gosh, he needs to leave the country. He needs to be fired. We need to cancel him. Oh my gosh, oh, this is such a sin. But when a white man rapes women, hey, let's make him president because nobody's perfect. He promised me cheap eggs. Yeah, sure. It was never, ever about the economy. It was about maintaining white power. Taking away the history of slavery, DEI, CRT, that racist piece of human trash, racist podcaster that says the roaming blacks. Oh, if the pilot's black, is he qualified? These are the people that they worship. Andy Ogles posting videos of 9/11 when Zoran Mandami is running. Maybe you should post videos of white people attacking the democracy on January 6th, Andy Ogles, you white supremacists. But that's okay, right? And when a white president pardons 1,500 predominantly white men that beat police officers, they're patriots. But a black man takes a knee and peacefully protests. He's a son of a bitch and lock him up. Yeah, Totally not about white supremacy, right? Now, let's talk about Lincoln Riley for a second. What happened to her was horrific. But you know what? The problem with that is over 40,000 people died in 2024 when she was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. And how many white men, U.S. citizens, committed crimes and murdered innocent U.S. citizens, and not one of you people that bitched and moaned about an undocumented immigrant because they were a brown person, said a damn thing about all of the crimes. How many of you protested, MAGA? I want to know, because you're pro-life, right? When Ahmaud Arbery was chased down the street just because he was a black man, and they assumed that he must be stealing a TV. How many of you stood up and fought for him? How many bills, Republicans, did you pass for him? That's right. None. Zero. Nada. How many of you Republicans stood up for George Floyd? None of you. Literally, the white man put his knee on the neck of a black man. That's very symbolic of this country, isn't it? Yeah, the white man just sitting there with his hands on his hips saying, what are you going to do? Not a damn thing. And that's exactly what's happening right now in the South. So white people, it's really up to you. What are you going to do? You going to be uncomfortable? Or are you just going to sit by and watch it happen? And you know what? Just to clear something up, because I get this comment a lot, and it's important, right? You're going to say, oh, Paul, you live in such a life of luxury. I'm not rich. I have bills to pay just like you. When I grew up, my stepdad worked 3 jobs. I didn't go on an airplane until I was like 20 years old because we were too poor to travel. My first table when I got married was a cardboard box with a white sheet. That was my first table. I walked 5.2 miles to work each way in Tualatin, Oregon to work because I couldn't afford a bike or a car. When I finally bought a car, I had to sell my PlayStation 1 to pay rent because I was too broke. Another time I had to sell my Spawn comic book collection to pay gas. So when you look at someone's backyard and you judge them based on where they are, don't think you know where they came from. Because I'm really sick and tired of that judgmental crap. It's got to stop. I know what I'm asking for, but ask yourself this. If you were black and you were called the N-word and you saw white people sitting around doing nothing about it, how would you feel? And if more white people had the same mentality that I did, we wouldn't be in this country. We would actually be a great country. And just for the record, we're not a great country. We're only great for white people. We've only ever been great for white people. If you actually go back and look at historical records like I do, black people were in people's will. When you look at the censuses pre-1950, you would have whites and non-whites on there. People would be in the property. It would say this Negro slave, this 12-year-old, and they would literally pass it down to their descendants. Why don't you go look it up? Why don't you go look up redlining? Why don't you go look up what the talk is to give to your people, your children, if you're black, when the cops pull you over? You ever been called the N-word? No? Because you don't want to walk in somebody else's shoes. You, white people, don't want to see this country for what it is. That's the problem. You want to buy into the lie of American exceptionalism. American has only been great for white people. And we're only great in 3 categories: incarcerations, military spending, and gun shootings, and probably white supremacy. Wow, what a great country. Wow, I can't believe everyone else doesn't want to be here. And I'll leave you with this. 250 years into this experiment, 51% of our country are women. And you still find a reason not to put a woman in power. In fact, you would rather vote for a white man, a convicted felon, who assaults women and defends child molesters, over the most qualified candidate in the history of our country because she was a black woman. Because part of this country was triggered by a black man out in the White House instead of out in the fields picking their cotton. That's a fact. That's not even a damn opinion. Just because you don't like it doesn't matter. Facts don't care about your feelings. And MAGA, if you don't like it, you're welcome to pick up your lazy asses, go find a Mayflower, and ship your asses back to where you came from in England, because I've actually been to the Mayflower restaurant where it docked. Criticizing this country doesn't mean you don't love it. Critiquing America is the most patriotic thing you could do. The problem is you people don't want to break away from the indoctrination of American exceptionalism. You want to believe that it's great. And that's what we do as a country, right? We've done this since we were little. We put our kids in American flag diapers. We poor nationalism, right? And we eat their freedom Wheaties, and we put them in front of the TV, and we have a flag, and we sing songs and fireworks. And before they leave for school, we feed their pet bald eagle, and you go to work with the Constitution and 48 trillion flags and guns, and you blast "God Bless America." That's nationalism. That's not patriotism. America has only been great for white people. It's up to you, white people. You can continue to not be uncomfortable, or you can sit by and watch it happen. First, they came for the immigrants, but I wasn't an immigrant, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the transgender athletes, but I wasn't that, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Somalians in Minnesota, but I wasn't a Somalian, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the black people, but I didn't say anything because I had bills to pay. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left to fight for me. How many of you were going to wait that long? I'm not. You can be on the white side of history and sit your privilege, or you can be on the right side of history. Have a white day.